Welcome back. It's now time to talk Ondo politics. November 16th is the date for the governorship election in that state, and all parties are gearing up for their primaries to pick a flag bearer, a standard bearer, someone who will represent the party at the polls. And the APC has been doing some basic housekeeping to see how to prune down the number to eventually pick a candidate who will represent the party at the governorship election. They are the ones in power in Ondo State, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. But the group, the Ondo APC Elders Council, or group rather, excuse me, known as the Aborigines, they made a decision a few days ago, and that decision has not gone well with other contenders, and that's what we're talking about today. They endorsed and picked the governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, and that's why this conversation is quite important to see and hear from all sides. We're being joined in the program by a legal practitioner and elder statesman, who is one of those who is not quite comfortable with that decision. Dr. Benson Enikome joins me right here in our Lagos studio. Thank you for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure being here. Good evening.
I'm also being joined via Zoom by a member of the Ondo APC Elders Group, the Aborigines, via Zoom, Mr. Bola Ilori. Mr. Ilori, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you, sir.
We needed to have all sides so that we have a balanced conversation within the time we have. So we're going to be as quick as possible, but get to the meat of the issue. The Aborigines met, and it came down to 3 candidates. Eventually, the governor was picked and endorsed to represent the party during the primaries and all of that. So let's find out how the Aborigines came to decide on the choice of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa over other contenders, about 10 of them, which were pruned down to 3. One passed, God rest his soul.
We as Aborigine, so to say, the people, members that were there when the party was being formed, we came together to look at the fortune of the party. And we look beyond the issue of maybe just personal interests of individual aspirants. So we set up criteria, we set up a committee to be able to assess the people that are on the field. We need to narrow down the field for people. And what we are doing, basically, we are a pressure group within the party. Everybody is also allowed to come up with their own kind of assessment. And it now boils down on the credibility of those who are assessing and the way party members decide to view what we have done. Why there will be some uproar is because of the weight of people who are there. Otherwise, it would not have been an issue. Several people had been endorsing people. It never generated any heat. But they know that these are key stakeholders of the party. And what we did was to set up criteria. We looked at the educational background of the aspirant, because that can affect the party. We looked at possible financial capacity of the candidate. We look at ability to win election, particularly popularity. That becomes very important, because at the end of the day, whatever we are doing, we must be conscious of the fact that the general election is not only about our party. People will still weigh in, so we look at it. We look at the integrity. We look at contribution towards the party over time, in coming to the conclusion that we came up with. And all of this happened to throw up the sitting governor as the easiest route to our victory in the general election. So that we were concerned about being able to win the general election, and that was very, very important for us.
Apparently, the camp of Wale Akinteriwa and Olushola Oke are not comfortable, which is why the good lawyer is here. So he stated a few things I would like you to respond to. Basing on them, and educational background, financial, maybe war chest, popularity, integrity, contribution to the party. Isn't this a fair assessment on how to pick a candidate for a party to represent them at an election?
First and foremost, you can only give what you have. If you don't have the authority to do any action taken by you, you will proceed in error. The point is this: in APC constitution as a party, where is the position of the Aborigines? Is Aborigine named as one of the organs of the party that can decide? That we must establish. And my answer is simple. There is no provision for those who are Aborigines in the party. Now, APC came into fruition in 2013-2014 or thereabout, when the election that was held that brought in President Buhari was to come on board. Who were the parties that came on board for that purpose? 4 political parties were involved, namely ACN of the days of gone by. Then we have CPC. Then a faction of PDP, and then also a faction of APGA.
Also ANPP.
Yes, ANPP. Yes, ANPP. Now, these were the parties that fused to form APC. Now, how do you determine Aborigine? Aborigine starts from the time APC was established. Those who have become members of it. You cannot be referring to AD that was not party to that particular decision, because AD was not in contemplation as at the time APC was formed. Some of the names that here said they were members of AD. Therefore, no power conferred on them. But let's go straight to the issues raised, that they look at education qualification. And that takes me a little bit backward. Among these individuals who are contesting, can you deny the qualification of Dr. Jimo Ibrahim, Senator Jimo Ibrahim? Jimo Ibrahim holds a PhD, and do you say he is not qualified? Chief Olushola Oke has LLM and is a senior advocate of Nigeria. So how do you now extrapolate, come to being, to putting together that these individuals are not qualified educational-wise? The governor has the basic education to contest for this particular position. But again, I didn't raise the issue. Issues have been raised. And then you now begin to look at these individuals. I've mentioned their names, the Akin Folarin, the Akin Terewa. No issues raised about their certificate. And so, if you live in a glass house, don't throw stone. But
he had mentioned like 5 categories.
Yeah, I am picking.
Time, we need to be quick.
Picking them one by one.
Yes, popularity, integrity, contribution. So let's hit it quickly. So I
Number
can get
2,
back to
finance. Chief Olushola Oke has been going about campaigns in all the 18 local governments. In fact, he finances his program. Who sponsors him? Ditto for Dr. Jimo Ibrahim. All other persons have been financing. Therefore, have they called these individuals to look at their accounts to say, oh, how much do you have in your account, to be able to determine it? If there's any money that stands to the credit of the incumbent, it must be government money.
Let me go back to Mr. Lori, just a minute. Let me go back to Mr. Lori. Mr. Lori, let me bring you back to some things he has raised, because you mentioned something in passing. I would like him to respond later on, which is you're not the first to endorse anyone. Why is your own endorsement causing this uproar at the end of the day? So how did you come to decide on the governor? Did you invite this candidate? Did you ask them to present like a resume? What exactly did you do? And did they say did they agree that they'll agree to whatever is the outcome of your screening exercise, so that we are on the same page?
Let me respond to my very good friend Eniku. What he's saying, what we are playing is politics. Don't forget that that becomes imperative. We have people listening to us, and we are clear about the fact that people needed guidance, and we provided guidance. That's what we have done. On whether there is a constitutional provision backing Aborigine, he spoke out of ignorance, and I will not blame him because he was not part of the process. The last state chairman of CPC was there. It's not only AD. It's just that most of us in ACN metamorphosed from AD to AC to ACN to APC. That's why you see the preponderance, and anybody in Ondo State knows that the senior partner in the merger in Ondo State happens to be ACN. So you will have preponderance of members of ACN in whatever is APC of Ondo State. But as part of that assessment, the structure of CPC was involved. The last state chairman of CPC was involved. The national officer of AMPP was there. Some old PDP members were there. So it's not as if it was a narrow AD thing. So his comment was based on ignorance, thinking I was just some few people. Because when you see the key actors,
Mr. Laurie, my question, Mr. Laurie, so that I'll get the answers. Yeah. My question is, did they all agree that they will subject themselves to the screening and will agree to the outcome of that screening? It's a simple question.
No. They don't. There is no need for that. We are guiding our followers. So, and it's for our followers to follow us or not to follow us. This is a voluntary and free matter. If they feel that what we have done is irrelevant, the best thing for them is just to ignore it and leave the party to decide whether they believe in what we have said or not.
I'm sure you have a response.
Very simple.
Let him respond. What's your response?
The truth of the matter is you don't shave a man's head in his absence. If you call yourselves elders of the party, of the party, an elder is expected to act fairly, equitably, and nicely. In my local area, they say when an elder is in the market, you don't allow the head of a small child to teach this way around. He adjusts it. If these elders, whom we know had been fronting and fraternizing with the present governor, I don't know when Mr. President came to Ondo State. Mr. Ilori that is speaking was one of the persons who said, Mr. President, this is where I'm going, pointing to the governor. Now, all of a sudden, you move, and then you turn yourself to an elder. Is it Mr. E.G. who had been in the entourage of Mr. Governor? All this while, all of a sudden, all of you put yourself together. You see, you cannot be a judge in your own cause. They have been part and parcel of Mr. Governor. If they say that, no problem, nobody is questioning them. But to come out and distill themselves and come now to tell us, no, we were not there, we are just neutral. That's not true. Therefore, the qualification that he has stated, he has not been able to establish that for integrity. He was a supporter of Chief Olushola Oke in 2012 when Oke was gunning for the governorship position, and if he ran on the platform of AD at that time. But if you have moved, no problem. That if he ran on the platform of AD in 2012, then he must have been an aborigine. And therefore, if you are now going to talk about it, you should bring such a person on board to discuss, to take a decision of this nature, of this magnitude, and canonize it and make it look like it is a universal decision that the elders of the party have spoken, when it is just a faction of a group of persons who hitherto have been fraternizing with the governor. All this while, it is, to say the least, being mischievous.
Mr. Laurie, let's come back. He has alleged that prior to this time, including yourself and other members of the Aborigines, have shown tendency that you support the governor ab initio. And isn't it a fair argument that if that is true, you've lost the moral right to make such decision on behalf of the party as an elder?
No, you see, like I've said before, this is politics. There is no iota of doubt of the fact that we love the party and we want the party to win. That's for us. We are doing what is expected of an elder. The governor is our governor. There is no issue about that. And there can be only one governor in the state at a time. And you must support your government. And it's the government of our party. So there is no issue about does he have another governor that he's supporting? Except he says he's working against the state. All of us are working for the interest of the state. So the governor is the symbol of the state and symbol of our party. So he's the highest elected person in Ondo State today. So all of us, including him that is talking, are fraternizing with the governor. So he's just a governor. Otherwise, there will be no basis for that fraternization. Now, what they are saying is that people should not hold opinion. People hold different divergent opinion in the elders forum, among the aborigines. You have people supporting okay. You have people supporting Aiyedatiwa. You have people supporting what's it called. But what we decided was that whatever we want to support, all of us must learn to come together and be able to do something that will make the party to emerge as victorious. So it's not the issue of personal interest. What we did there, which is different, was to bring all our interests together. Whereas, yes, all of us might have different preferences. We drop all our preferences when we go to the aborigine meeting. That we want a governor we can talk to. We don't want a governor that will see people as being somebody who is outside. As people have criticized.
Let's bring it back to this.
We know them. We are talking about people we know. So it's not just about people we don't know. We have known these people for ages. There is none of them that is just coming to the stage now. So we knew them. Without even asking, we know how they are related with the people. The core concern we have, like on education, is to say, do you have the minimum qualification? Even if you have PhD, it's not. INEC will not ask about your PhD. INEC wants to know, do you have minimum qualification?
Let's bring it back to the studio. Because of time, as we wind down, let's bring it back to the studio. But isn't it a fair decision when it comes to politics that the governor is given the right of first refusal? Isn't that the norm?
Well, the situation on ground differs from that. I know as of a fact that before the demise of Akeredolu, almost a year or thereabout or two, Chief Olushola Oke, I can't speak for any other person, went to Mr. Akeredolu SAN. Take note, I was once an aide to Akeredolu. I was SSA on oil and gas, that government, before I left. Went to Mr. Akeredolu to inform, sir, you will run your 4-year tenure. After the tenure, I am interested in running because I never ran against you in 2016 when you were to recontest. From that meeting, he proceeded to the then deputy governor, who is now the governor of Ondo State, to inform him that he was going to contest for the position of the governor. The then deputy governor, now governor, didn't tell him, and I speak this on national television, that, oh, my elder brother, I will also be vying. So if we're going to talk about
maybe he wasn't contemplating it.
Yeah, if he was not contemplating and somebody has already informed you, then the law of first mention gives him precedent. And Chief Olushola Oke has been going. Ditto are others who have been campaigning. Therefore, we cannot subtain them. Number two, sir. Why I appreciate in a 30 seconds. Why I appreciate the governor for his right to contest. We will in Ondo South be such change if the governor contests, because it will only stay for 4 years. We need an 8-year tenure. Because
why do you say that?
Because the law is that if you succeed your boss as a deputy, you spend the remainder of his tenure, you can only contest for 1 month term. So for us in Ondo South, Ondo Central had its own Mimiko 8 years.
Okay.
The North has had almost 12 years now. It is now the turn of Ondo South.
We're totally out of time.
We say no to stop changing us.
Legal practitioner, elder statesman, Dr. Benson Enokomen, and Bola Ilori, member Ondo APC Elders Group, member of the Aborigine. Thank you, gentlemen and elders, for coming on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you.